Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mena's Live Gathering of the Goats. It's a very patriotic edition. We're bringing in the 4th of July with this auspicious show. I'm, of course, Menas. I'm joined by Visionless Dave, the most controversial voice in the Minifan world. Dave, how are you?
I'm doing great. Beautiful day, great country, best country in the world. Love it. July, best month of the year. Can't complain.
And on trial for comments, no pressure, Poodle Dick, but there's a queue of people waiting with a knife ready to stab you in the back and take your job. Poodle Dick on comments. Are you nervous? Are you excited? What's your strategy?
I'm just going to read the comments like my job, not try to be like that drunk Canadian kid.
Okay, good. There we go.
Excellent. Well, Poodle Dick, we'll bounce you out now. You go and you arm yourself with some good comments.
I got you.
Looking forward to your input into the show. Dave, big week for you. You've been doxxed. John's put something in the comments. I can see 90210 Dave. How are you feeling about the whole thing?
It kind of came out of left field. It's pretty funny, though. Doxing is not funny. It's very serious, but I've been to the bottom of the barrel and back, so it's very hard to rattle me, but I'm just happy to be here.
Great. How do you feel about your sort of real name and, all those details being out there now?
Honestly, I don't give a shit, really, because it's all whoever is doxing me kind of stinks at doxing, because that's all stuff I've said either on Twitch or, to people privately, so I never was really trying to conceal my identity too much. It's more of just a parody account is fun to have. It's just fun to think of a name. So they can keep coming at me all they want. I'm not embarrassed by my birth or my name. And I will say all the information in there was definitely very accurate. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, so do you still want to be called Dave, or do you want to go by your real name now?
I think people just know me as Dave. I was thinking for a sec, since Big Steve is gone, maybe I could be Lil Steve, but I'll just let that slide. I'll just stick as VD, Dave.
Okay. All right, Dave. All right. So we've got a lot to talk about in this edition of Gathering the Goats. Cullinane's first week. I think Kirk was a real dickhead to Cullinane at one point, and I'm going to point that out. And I just want to sort of illustrate why maybe people run from working with Kirk sometimes. Mayo sent in a question, so I'm going to read that out, and then we'll wrap it all up with calls. So we'll finish with calls in about half an hour. But let's get straight into Dave's first week. Obviously, some sound issues on Friday. Have a listen.
Can vouch.
A little bit of an echo.
Do it. Cannot just show up to the studio to grab a microphone and pitch themselves.
It's a rough listen the first few minutes, but it certainly got better. What did you think of Dave's first week?
Well, specifically with that sound issue, I thought my AirPods were fucking up. So I was at work, unpairing them and repairing them. And then I was like, oh no, this just must be Dave. But it shows you how beloved the guy is, because everybody was just like, oh, well, he fixed it like 15 minutes in, So he's really playing with house money. He's got a long leash right now. The sound has been terrible. Kirk sounds fine, but just Cullinane's sound it's just a roller coaster every day. You don't know what you're gonna get. I'm confident he'll figure it out, in the next week or so. But it just shows you the people really love Cully, because no one was really jumping down his throat for it.
Yeah, and he fixed it really quickly. It didn't affect the audio in the podcast. It was mainly the YouTube live element. I also want to thank Rob Doherty for letting us on his network tonight. We're obviously coming to you from the Rob Doherty Network, the newly named Rob Doherty Network. So thank you, Rob, for letting us on as the new ambassador for the Minifans. Well, okay, so first week, I thought we just saw a different show than the last couple of months with Steve. I thought the energy was up. Almost too much. On Monday and Wednesday, though, Mike, Kirk, and Carl were like giggling like they were on a first date or something. You could really tell a new sort of vibe in the room, Dave.
I've seen a lot of that. is that really that much of an observation? I mean, whenever you switch the, half the show, which basically he is, or 1/3 of the show, it's going to take a different energy. So I don't think anyone should be shocked by that. I still think the show will be finding its legs for the next couple weeks until we kind of get locked in a groove. There is one thing I
agree with that. No, I just
ahead.
agree. I think they need to find their feet a little bit and get in the groove again. And you could tell there was a few moments where, they were a bit lost. But I think that by the end of the week, you could see them getting, they're getting a little bit more vibe.
Yeah, and I think on air they're great together. Obviously, Kirk and Cullinane have great chemistry. I think the challenge for Cullinane will be figuring out what kind of stories to bring to the show. I mean, Steve obviously got a hard time for being very influenced by politics and kind of culture war discussions. So it sounds like they're going to kind of abandon that track completely, which I think a lot of people like. I don't mind having an intellectual conversation, but if people want just light and fun, I'm with it. But he is going to need to find a way, find a voice for himself and what kind of content he's bringing to the show in regards to Cullinane.
Yeah. What about you're obviously not a Minna fan. You're, I guess, more a Mincel that you've come to the show since Kirk went.
I'm a Rabba fan. I'm a Rabba fan.
Okay, a Robber fan. But you came on when Kirk went to Barstool. So I've obviously listened to Kirk a lot on EEI. So I've enjoyed some of the old content. There's been, Trenny talk, Glenn Ordway talk, a lot of Callahan talk. As a Robber fan, Mincel, how do you feel about that?
I'm fine with it. I mean, I don't think it has a lot of legs. It's no different than what was happening with Steve. They did the same kind of stuff. I wouldn't say that's a new element to the show at all.
No, but I think Cullinane's brought more of it than Steve probably has in the past. I just wondered if it was annoying for sort of the newer listeners, because if you haven't listened to EEI, do you care about Glenn Ordway? Do you care about Trenny?
No, I don't. It's not annoying. I wonder if for people like Carano who have been reading Kirk since his fantasy football articles back in like 2006, I wonder if they kind of miss the fantasy football aspect of the show. I've heard that bubbling up from a few people.
You want Kirk to go back to fantasy football articles?
Yeah, that's what the real fans. I've actually been listening to Kirk since he was writing screenplays in LA, so I'm actually more of a fan than Carano. But yeah, I mean, it's not an annoying part of the show. No, I've come to know all these Boston characters, so they feel like a part of the show in a way.
And what about the live element, going live on YouTube every day?
I love it just because it's right at 7 a.m., right when I'm walking into work, going to save some lives. So instead of having to wait until like 8:39, just refreshing, when's it out? It's just out live if you can be there, and if not, it's on the RSS feed. I'm working while I'm listening, so I'm not in the chat. I'm not really looking at stuff, but I've enjoyed the live element a lot. I think it does, like I've told you, I think going live changes the energy of a show.
You're big on going live, hence the rules about Gathering of the Goats. Manners Live can only be broadcast live. So that's just the way the show.
Should we bring in Poodle? See what he's got. I know these chats.
Comments,
yeah,
guys, these chats are going crazy right now. We got a lot of VD strong, which I stand with. Also, we got some people saying that VD should his original name sucks, so he should stick with VD. We got Menners would look good in the scally cap, and a lot of people think I'm a sex machine. So
there you go.
That's for you guys.
There you go.
What's your response to that, Poodle Dick?
You gotta you gotta try me out sometime, I guess.
Oh, okay, back out. Got kinky real early on this edition of Gathering of the Goats. Okay, I love the live element too. I'm staying up late and watching it. It airs midnight Australian time, so that's perfect during lockdown when you don't have to get up the next day. I like watching live, but I also like then going back and re-listening, because when you're watching live, you're in the comments, you're reacting, but then going back and listening to it again, you pick up some of those things you might forget. or not pick up. So yeah, loving the live element. I like that appointment viewing as well. The fact that you can just watch. It feels like you sort of, I don't know. It just feels like it's got a life when it's live. A bit more of life.
I won't be able to get over the irony of you not wanting to do this show live, but then talking about how much better KMS is live.
No,
like,
no,
those dots not connecting
want to
your
do
head.
the show live. I have said VD. I just think it's strange to put that restriction on. That means we have to rely on Justin to produce, whereas sometimes we could record and just send it in and they could broadcast it. But look, let's get over that. I think you and I are in a good place. We produce shows well together. I think probably the best producers on the Rob Doherty network. Last thing before I've got a couple of sound drops to play. What did you think of Cullinane's ideas for the third chair? He floated Mike Portnoy, Kendra Middleton, and Coley Mick.
I think I'll start with Mike Portnoy. I think that's great, like once every 6 months. But I love Mr. Portnoy, but even listening to him on the Dave Portnoy show, like you're getting the same thing every time. It's fun in small doses, but I mean, eventually I think you just start to go insane if you listen to that guy talk too much. As far as the broad from the Greg Hill show, don't see it. Don't see the appeal. I remember Cully being bullish on her when that clip kind of went mini viral, at least in the Miniverse, of her listing stuff out. Don't see that at all. And who was the third one? Coley Mick. I'm pretty sure Coley Mick hates Kirk because his ex-podcasting partner didn't get Kirk and Steve kind of gave him a hard time when he quit Barstool, allegedly like implying that Portnoy's racist. He didn't want to be a part of the company. And I wasn't a basketball fan, but I would listen to that podcast. They were good together. I do think Coley has a good sense of humor, but I think he's kind of a pretty strong liberal. So I don't know if him and Kirk would work. I think if they could squash whatever kind of animosity they have, I do think he would be a good fit, sense of humor wise and his takes on culture. But I do think that hatred between them might be a pretty big roadblock.
Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, you nailed those takes. I thought Friday's show where we had all the Minifans coming in to sort of plead their case for a Sarko pre-show. I mean, we wouldn't have got that with Steve. I thought it was a great, fun show. And I just think that we saw everything that's good about Cullinane on Friday. Inclusive, not an asshole. We're lucky Steve wasn't there because he would have shot Eric, so we'd have a dead Minifan. But I thought Friday we saw the benefits of having someone who's not a complete asshole producing the show.
Yeah, I think.
Were you responding to mid-show? Very unprofessional.
I think someone you have blocked. I think that the push towards fan inclusivity is a great push. I heard, did you listen to Kirkin' Off with Rich Kelleher by chance? I don't know. It just came out.
I actually listened to the first 15 minutes. When Rich Kelleher came on, I had to turn it off because his audio was so bad.
It's actually a very good listen. I encourage everybody to go listen. And you get to see the human side of RK. But he spoke on it a good amount. It's just about like how Dave really is pushing the fan interaction part of the show, which is always been the thing that sets KMS apart from other shows, whether it's on Twitter or actual content on the main show.
That's why John and BA came in trying to get some Barstool attention.
I think that's why everybody's here. Everybody's in the Miniverse because they love the show and they want to throw their 5 cents in, throw their whatever.
Well, so I think some people want to. Yeah. Anyway, go on. Yeah. Okay.
But for Fridays, who is the couple people you would want to see come in? Because I have a couple names. I'll go first if you want.
Yeah, you go first.
I'd like to see, we hear rumblings about this guy every now and then. He's great follow on Twitter. Unfortunately, when my regular account got permanently suspended, I lost the follow. But Mikey Fowler, I mean, he's kind of the unsung hero behind everything at Barstool. We know he's a big KMS guy. Kirk loves him. Steve loves him. Cullen loves him. Let's get Mikey Fowler in for a Friday. Maybe some of these like ancillary Barstool characters. we have some secret allies in the headquarters, you know, so let's get those guys on. I'd love to hear Fowler. I don't know if he's been on any shows. I'm guessing he's probably been on something at some point, but I'd love to get Mikey Fowler in for a day. I wouldn't hate getting Stu Feiner in for a day. Just, you know, like they shouldn't be afraid to just have some of these Barstool wild cards kind of come in for a day. And then if none of them are, you know, seem like a good fit, yeah, I like getting some Minifans in there and involving the fans.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they should just have a revolving door policy on Fridays. Get Minifans in, get Barstool people. It's fun, make it wild. I mean, we saw on Friday with all those randoms in. It was fun, you know. It had a good vibe about it. A lot to laugh at. A lot of material for Kirk to make fun of. So I think that's the way to go. As you Barstool personalities, Minifans. You know, it's one spot every Friday. It's easy to fill. You know. It was hard for Steve because he didn't have that imagination, but I think Cullinane's got a broader thinker. Let's bring Poodle Dick in for the comments, and then I've got some drops to play from Friday's show. PD, what's happening in the comments? Are they popping?
They are popping a little bit. A lot of Menners hate right now. A lot of people talking. A lot of Killer K, Jay. You know, the typical haters. A lot of ball spot talk. Killer K saying that you never wanted any fan interaction, which I think was a little bit of a lie. You love the fans, right?
Lie.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about the fans.
Okay.
People forget Menners did the what was the Minifan Network thing you did when
The Minifan mashup.
Minifan mashup, legendary.
Legendary.
We also got Jay does not have any pants on right now, so that could be a little bit worried.
Jay, can we ignore every fucking comment Jay writes, please, Poodle Dick? First, ignore all those fucking idiots that think the comments is the most important thing in the world, and look for the real fans, the real Minifans, the ones that aren't just looking for company because they've got these lonely, pathetic lives.
And I think the last comment we have is Menners and VD are the best combo on the YouTube channel, and I totally agree with that.
100%. Great comment, that one. All right. Thank you, PD. You're doing a great job. Now, I got a sound, obviously, in the last gathering of the GOATs, I was very upset at this suggestion that Cullinane made, and Kirk, again, followed my instructions.
You want can I pitch you now? Oh, I want to give Rob the Minahan, what is it? Kirk Minahan Network, KMN. What are you calling it? I want to give him the network. Like I want him to be like the guy, the manager of the Kirk Minahan show.
Like the manager of it?
Like he takes it. Why?
Because I don't want him to have it. Because he wants it.
I don't want it.
Okay, he doesn't want it then. Now I want it. Now I fucking
Will it make you happy?
So Kirk would have none of that.
So do you think that's an instance of Kirk knowing that you have vetoed that decision and him kind of just hopping on board with you?
I think so. I mean, I think there's a lot of instances where Kirk will take, follow my lead, and he knows that was a bad idea. I also don't understand the driver for that from Cullinane. So he wants Justin to come in and produce the show for him. He wants Rob to run the network. What is Cullinane going to do? Like, is he just going to do live switching during the shows, like getting the camera angles, and that's it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things when you start a new job, you feel like you got to tinker with everything to, so people think you're, to make sure people know you're working hard. I know I've experienced that in the professional workplace when someone new comes in and they're like, I mean, Cullinane literally did this, so it's funny. They're like, oh, we need to get on Slack, we need to do all this new stuff where it's a lot of change about nothing. Why did he change the mic that Steve used? Because Steve always used to sound great. Whether you like him or not, Steve sounded great. And now he's using his little headset thing. I mean, it sounds like he's on Zoom, even though he's in the next room.
Yeah, so on Wednesday he had a headset mic. On Friday he changed back to the NT1s, the Rode NT1s that are the same as in the studio. Look, we'll just have to give Cullinane the benefit of the doubt that he's just playing around with it. He did make a very good point on Friday that Kirk won't allow sound checks. Most professional broadcasters, they come in, they sit down, you run a sound check. If there's any issues, you make adjustments before you go live. But Kirk doesn't allow that. So Cullinane's in a tough spot. I do think as a producer myself, I would recommend to Cullinane everyone be on the same type of mic. rather than him on a headset and Mike and Kirk on the NT ones. I'd also recommend them getting a third mic in the studio. You know, if I don't see why there should be the ability for Kirk to sit and talk to two people rather than you had Beyond Average Dick and his friend just standing next to him. I mean, how hard is it to get a third mic in there?
You tell me. You're the gearhead. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's very hard.
Okay, I'm staring at 5 microphones right now. All right, now next sound. All right, so we all know Kirk is very sensitive about the impression people have about the way he treats co-workers. And I thought there was an example on Friday of Kirk being a complete dick to Cullinane. So I'm going to play the audio, David, and then I'll ask for your opinion.
While Dave spends his time and focus on KMS, nor is Dave part of the case, by the way. Also,
is that confirmed?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Because you've hired somebody to handle that?
No, I don't want you to do it.
Why?
I mean, I don't know.
You told me that was a conversation we could have. We haven't even gotten to that point.
We just had it.
I'd like to have more of that conversation.
Okay.
What if it's something I want to explore and I can, just like you had to broaden your horizons? What
and that's more right there. And the answer is no. So
Okay.
we had a long conversation about it.
All right, I'll move on.
What horizons do you want to expand?
I think it's cool to try something new like
try
that, just like
something
you
new.
did.
So complete shitbag move from Kirk there. What do you think, Dave?
I think it's funny. I appreciate the way Cullinane vocalizes his insecurities so readily. It makes for great content on air, but just like immediately he's like, you hired somebody? Like it reminds me of his kind of relationship with Jerry and the consultant. Just he's constantly got his head on the swivel because he knows he gets fucked with a lot. I don't think it was that out of line by Kirk's standard. I mean, do you think Cullinane would be a good fit for the case? Do you think he should get a shot at it?
Yes, and I think it's very poor leadership of Kirk to just shoot it down. He didn't even give him a chance. As Cullinane said there, they just, flagged they were going to have a chat about it. And on air, Kirk just says, nope, doesn't consider it. They talk for 10 seconds and Kirk goes, all right, we talked about it. I mean, if you're trying to improve your reputation as someone that producers want to stick with rather than, people seem to run away from Kirk at the first opportunity, why wouldn't you at least talk to Kirk, talk to Dave, be a little bit more inclusive, be a better leader, be a better boss, rather than just shoot him down on air. Cullinane was clearly annoyed. He seems to be able to move on from things pretty quickly, but I thought that was just a shitbag move.
But you really think Cullinane would be a good fit for the case, like investigative type stuff? Because he himself says, I don't take anything seriously. I don't give a fuck about anything. Like I'm here for laughs. Twitter is for laughs. I would kind of seeing Cullinane in a different role might break my heart a little bit, seeing him have to take things too seriously. I think he's a puppy and he should be left in the dog park to kind of run around and go sniff everything. And I do wonder if my take will be proven correct, where I still do think Steve will be the producer of the case season 2.
Even if Cullinane wasn't given the job as the case, I think to shoot him down on air like that, to barely consider it, poor leadership from Kirk. And look, Cullinane's going to stick around because he's loyal. He's not like Steve. But, if I'm Kirk, I'm thinking I can be better. I can be better the way I treat my employees. And that's an example of where he's gone wrong. I know Justin wants a full-time job, but he's slacking. There's no even graphic. Have you noticed that, VD? There used to be a nice background graphic on the shows, and there's nothing. Justin's slacking.
I actually didn't notice that until you pointed it out. But should we talk about Justin's job pitch? What did you think of it?
Well, I've got to.
Let's just start. Okay, go ahead.
What about this claim? This is a wild claim.
And am able to stir the pot on Twitter, gaining more social media impressions and podcast downloads. So you think your stirring the pot on Twitter has led to more podcast downloads?
I think it leads to more eyes on the.
Do you have any proof of that?
Yes.
You do?
Ooh. Yes. On the.
So do you think Justin's Twitter activity is increasing listens and eyes on the show?
I do think he's very polarizing. So I don't know if he's bringing in new viewers, but I do think, his takes and tweets probably get sent around either like, yeah, I agree with you or look at this dumbass. So I don't know if I'd put it on the resume, but I don't have a problem with him claiming that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Should we bring in Poodle Dick real quick? I got one
Yep.
comment I even want to address.
Absolutely.
What's up, BD?
Poodle.
Do you want to go with your comment, or you want?
Yeah, I see Dale saying Gathering of the Goats has gotten worse with each passing
I
episode.
see
Dale, why
that.
don't you go get drunk and try to fight everybody in Madawaska again? You fucking loser. Next, any other good ones?
Yeah, from Young Leg, we got Menor seems like a great leader, which I agree with. You know, nothing that shows me otherwise. Menors, how would you like to run the Kirk Minahan network? Would you have any interest? That seems like a comment.
Oh yeah, actually, yes, 100%. If Dave would offer it to me, I would accept.
I love that. I see Mayo saying on the occasional Friday, Menor should come on KMS and do leadership coaching with Kirk. What do you think about that?
I think that'd be worthwhile. I think, I think a mentoring session with Menors every Friday would be really useful for Kirk. So happy to be available for him.
Love it.
We also got a lot of negative, flip-flop Menors, no energy Menors.
Whatever.
And the comments seem pretty horny today. A lot of threesome talks with me, Menors, and some of these commenters. So
I'm
a lot
up
of
for it.
gay sex. A lot of gay sex out there. I can't imagine there's very many women watching this show.
hey, we don't like to judge here.
Pride Month is over. We don't
This is
judge,
a
but
great
Pride Month
show.
is over.
This is a great show. So thank you for all the great comments. Okay, Justin's job application, you were asking about that, VD. I mean,
Yes.
52K a year is way too high. I'm saying 26K a year starting salary.
Well, when it comes to negotiations, a wise man once told me you can always go up. You can't go.
You can always go down.
always- You can always go down. You can't go up. So 52, it seems high, but I mean, look, I'll start it off with this. Do I think Justin should have a full-time job? I think yes. I mean, he's worked basically for free for almost a year and a half. I do think he lost a lot of leverage when he said he wouldn't leave no matter what. If I could tell Justin one thing, I would be like, your resume is meant to be like, you're supposed to lie, like just lie. If I was him, I would have spun a narrative like, oh yeah, like, I've been working 18 months basically for free. And if I don't get a full-time job, I'm going to have to leave. Like I need to move out, kind of just a little sob story, make people feel bad for you. But I think he's too honest of a kid. I mean, resumes are all about lying. Anybody who's been through the grind knows that. Just lie, build a narrative, manipulate the people around you and get what you want.
Yeah, I thought there wasn't enough substance to Justin's application. A lot of fluff, a lot of, bluster, a lot of false promises. Whereas I think he needed to really boil down to, what is he actually going to do for the show on a day-to-day basis? You can't say I'm ready to go to New York whenever. That's not a task, being ready to jump on a train. But I would support Justin to KMS full-time. He's always been great working with me, except when he quit Menors Live as the producer last year and handed me off to Nick. Apart from that, Justin has always been a good producer. I would recommend him full-time. Probably 52K is a bit high. Question from Mayo, VD, before we take calls. We'll open the phone lines up in a minute, but a question from Mayo. Why do you think Kirk stopped selling tickets to Sarko?
Oh, I've heard some rumblings about this. It was weird, kind of the excuse he used, or the reasoning, I shouldn't say excuse, was that it took a long time to go and say hi to everyone last year, so let's just stop selling tickets.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I wonder a little bit if, everybody has insecurities. I wonder if they just had a live show in the same area. I wonder if tickets were moving a little slow, and we know Kirk isn't the type of guy that's going to like jump up and down and say, hey, buy some merch, buy a ticket to this. He always has a little bit of an insecurity about that. He doesn't really like asking the fans for money, which I think ultimately was a big crater in the relationship of Steve and Kirk, because Steve wanted every penny. We'll see how Cullinane adjusts to it.
Do you think, Dave, that's an act? Kirk, because I think sometimes Kirk knows what he's doing. Like he knows
Oh.
if he comes across as money hungry, it'll turn people off. So he does the opposite, but deep down he knows, what good business is.
I think a little bit, but I think underneath it all, it's not really an act. I mean, I could say, from one rich guy to another, like we don't care about making money. Like money just isn't important to us. We have so much of it that, we're not going to beg for money. So it's kind of just
inherited close to $30 million. I mean, it's a lot of
really.
money. Well, that's my understanding.
Yeah. It's a little bit low for rich guy standards. But that's a decent chunk of change. I think, I wondered too. He said that he's not going to release the show on YouTube or podcast. The Madawaska live show numbers were a little low. Do you think that factored into it? The fact that didn't get a ton of views?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's more about selling tickets. I think he's trying to promote it as an exclusive event, so you won't be able to watch it on replay. So you get people who might be sitting on the fence. Well, okay, I'm going to go, because I got to say, as someone who physically can't go, it's really frustrating and upsetting to know there'll be a KMS show that we won't be able to listen to. It's like grating on my soul. It's very upsetting. So I can imagine, if I lived within a few hundred miles of Succo, I'd be like, fuck it, I'm going regardless.
What do you think about the no barbecuing at the show rules? Do you think that's anti-American?
Yes, 100%. Why no barbecue? Who said that?
I believe Justin said it on a wrap-up show. I saw it. I saw a couple people talking about it. It's no grilling allowed at the show.
What's BPM gonna do?
I don't know.
He's
gonna have to give out free waters or something.
Yeah,
give out free water.
Yeah, the reason for that, it was the drive-in owner told me that the fire marshal last year had a big problem with it. So he told us he'll get fined a shit ton of money if people are grilling this year. So it's up to the venue. It wasn't a KMS decision.
Yeah. I figured. Did they get forest fires in Maine? Like I know California, we're always on forest fire warning. Is it something like that, or I wonder you just have to have a license or something?
I think it's more just you just can't have just open fires with a bunch of people around there. Yeah, especially with cars and things like that. People driving away, people dumping coals. It's just I don't know.
A bunch of drunk people around open flames. It has gone poorly before.
Yes. So
Justin, where's the graphic, by the way, the background graphic?
For what? For this?
Your Kirk Minahan Network graphic that used to go in the background. When you're applying for a full-time job, that's the attention to detail that will get you this job.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
put it in your note. Put it in your notes.
Okay, just wanted to.
Thanks, all right, we're going to start taking calls and text. So what is that? What is that?
That was from the McChicken competition, I believe.
All right, let's open. Do you want to open up the phone lines, Dave?
Yeah, should we bring Poodle in quick first? I feel like we've been neglecting Poodle. Yeah.
A lot. They just want calls right now.
We'll just open it up. They can all fuck off. These fucking dumb viewers. Go and watch something else. Go and watch fucking something else on the network, idiots.
And a lot of people have been talking about Willie G being sober, so that's a good accomplishment.
Oh yeah, my guy.
I'm so glad.
Willie G, he's off the booze. I'm proud of my guy.
Willie G.
He's been ripping it up in Rebirth all over the place. He's still kind of ice cold.
Heroin.
I'm happy for Will. I'm happy for my guy.
Giving up crack. Well, while we're waiting for calls, Justin, just fire those calls up. Do you want to talk about the pitches for the pre-show in Succo? Let's take our first call. Hello, welcome to Manners Live, Gathering the Goats. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
G'day.
That is VP. Thank you for having me on. It's Chris from Brisbane.
G'day, Chris.
I was listening to you over the weekend, and just to let you know, I support you with the vaccine. I just got my second shot last week, and I feel great.
Great. Yeah, go and do it.
Yeah, you gotta believe in science, dude. I can see my family now, and that dickhead Montante. People like him are the fucking problem.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He is
I did
so
hear
dumb.
you. I did hear you on Montante's podcast. That was the first episode I listened to. It was actually surprisingly pretty good. I mean, his segues make no sense. Like he'll be like, "Speaking of the Minna ladies, what do you think of lockdowns?" You know.
He's a fat dummy. I mean, he's wrong with America. He's a fat, overfed Italian moron. Fucking, you're wasting your time going on with him.
Oh, he's red hot gambling though right now. He's red
I will do
hot.
anything to support Minna fans. I'm a big supporter of the community, and I'll go on shows even as bad as Montante. As I said to you, I think privately, VD, I've spent all my clout dollars. I went on Meeting of the Minds and I went on Montante. I've got no zero clout. Hello, caller.
Manners, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Killer K.
How you doing?
Really
Been a
good.
pretty good show tonight. I like your passion. VD's looking great. VD's bringing the heat as well.
Killer, how would you rate Poodle Dick's performance as somebody who fought for that position?
Oh, Poodle Dick's great. I was always willing to step down for Poodle Dick. I'm a big Poodle Dick guy. I think he's the right man for the job.
Honor.
I got honor and respect. I was just kind of wondering, what is Menner's suggestion for the live show at the KMS network in regards to the Saco show?
Mm-hmm.
Like, does he think that they should have this random bunch of random podcasts, or does he think they should kind of just have music and stuff?
I like the idea of doing some pre-show stuff. I think it would be really good for VD and I to do a show remotely. I know Dave Cullinane is privately pushing for that, but it was shot down pretty quickly by Kirk on one of the shows. So I don't think that's going to be happening, but I think the standard of applications have been so bad so far. Perhaps they'll be, open to the idea of someone calling in. I like the idea of a vox pop, so someone going around with a microphone, talking to different Minna fans and putting it up on the big screen.
Like
I
Man
like
on the
that-
Street. Like Man on the Street.
Yep, I like the idea of a Minna fan idol. So you could probably have maybe the top 4 best singers sing a song, and then the winner gets a trophy. I like the idea of a year in review, so you could review the year of the Kirk Minahan show as a sort of a pre-show hype thing. So I like the idea. And I think you could get messages from Minna fans who can't be there. There's so many possibilities, and the standard of applications on Friday were pathetic, beyond average, sucked. They all sucked.
I couldn't disagree with you there, Manners. What do you think about maybe they have like a GoFundMe for a wheelchair-bound OnlyFans model to raise awareness to people like that and to really fundraise?
Coincidentally, John from Scranton is starting a GoFundMe 2 weeks before Saco for someone we've never heard of, and he will be there renting the house for the whole week.
Ziggy, after I got doxxed, I actually shouldn't say Ziggy. Somebody reached out to me and told me, "Hey, I've been through this before. Do you want to do a GoFundMe? We can split it 50-50. It's kind of how I did it with BPM." I wasn't interested though. I don't get down like that. But Ziggy was trying to. This person was trying to kind of run a little scam. I don't agree with that. I think anytime you can help the disabled, the paraplegic, I think we should. So I support it. Menners, if you had to name 4 shows to open Saco, what would they be? Like, who would your 4 picks be?
Putting me on the spot here, David.
I'll go first. I would have in the first slot. I would have Very Good Show. Craig's a good guy. Whiskey Mike.
Amen.
Great show. 2 spot. I'd go Talking Loud. More great guys. David made a great pitch in the studio. 3 spot. Get the OG show back together. Hasn't been an OG show in a while. And then 4th slot, I would do the hits with Dave Cullinane featuring Mixmaster J, and then I would call it a day. But I do like your idea of Man on the Street. Who would you have kind of be the interviewer for the Man on the Street?
You need someone sort of who'd be there on the ground. I think an OG Minna fan would be good. Someone.
I think ideally the interviewer would have to be there. Yeah. I don't think they could do it remotely.
Who's going to be there? Not like who would be there? Like someone who everybody likes, like Tim in Canton or Someone
I
like
was gonna say Tim Riggles. I think Tim Riggles would be perfect.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Madawaska Rob, probably not. Yeah. Well, good question, KK. You think they
Manners,
should
are
do
you developing a rivalry with Madawaska Rob?
what?
Are you developing a rivalry with Madawaska Rob?
No, I really like Rob. I think he's a terrific guy, but I don't think he should be in charge of the network. I thought his pitch on Friday was pathetic. But no, I like Rob. He's a terrific guy.
You did bully him off the network once before. You sent him into a hiatus.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
What are you talking about?
He had that segment about his kids talking about his penis, and you didn't like that, and then he kind of disappeared for a while.
It's a bit strange talking about the size of my penis. I mean, sorry, Rob. I don't sort of sit there talking about my son's penis size on air.
It was interesting.
All right, well, thanks, you guys. I'll let you get to another call.
Thanks,
Thanks,
KK. Poodle, Dick, you want to jump in with some comments?
Poodle in the parking lot. I'm seeing a lot of poodle in the parking lot. That is confirmed.
So we got VD's on fire right now. Probably the funniest one here. I agree.
100%.
Montane's in the chat just keeping on saying Biden 2024. I don't know what his deal with that is. I guess he really loves the guy. Probably fraud. It sounds like he's
I
fraud.
saw he just got his vaccination.
Yeah, you saw that. I saw that picture too. He didn't want to put it he didn't want to tweet it, so he asked me to. So I thought that was weird, but whatever will help a buddy out.
Classy move.
And that's it for the comments right now. A lot of men hate.
Fuck off. All these haters. Suck a dick, you cunts. You fucking cunts. I laughed when Kirk was like, can I say cunt on the network? I was like, don't worry. I've only said it 1,000,000 times on your fucking network. Bunch of cunts listeners out there. We got a caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Oh, hello, Manners. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I just have a couple stats.
Well,
that sounded like me. I thought that was me.
No,
it was weird.
276 yards per game. Tony Romo, 8.6 yards pass attempts. Donovan McNabb, 14.7 yards pass.
This guy off. You can up on this guy.
I think I remember that guy from Menner's Live. I
can't talk NFL. Sorry. We talk England's big win in the Euros. Hello, caller. Welcome to
nominate Allison and Robinson's B&B as man in the street.
I like that.
Right. Yeah, I would talk to them. Although I don't know.
I'd like to apologize. I just hopped into the show. I'm very sad about the recent doxing of VD, and my hat goes out to you. And I'm sorry for everything you're going through and all your troubles.
Oh, it's okay, John. I'm not fazed by it a bit. I got a great support system. People can dox me all they want. I live a great life.
So I don't know if you've ever seen this person on Twitter named Simone Hanna from London, and she just recently relocated to Los Angeles. So if you could arrange to have her over to your mansion, I'll come out there and visit you folks.
Should I add her to the list for the next mansion pool party I'm having?
Yeah, and any members of the Beverly Hillbillies that are surviving, specifically Erica Eleniak.
Okay.
How are you, Manners?
Very good. Thanks, John. I love Beverly Hills, so I'd like to visit Dave one day in his mansion, and I hope he can make it to a Minifan event soon. I think he's dragging the chain a bit, giving all these excuses about
why. Afford it, huh?
Yeah, times are tough.
You going to Saco, John?
Yes. Are there any restrictions on him legally around where he can travel?
For me?
Yeah.
I've got no restrictions. I'm not on probation or anything. I'm a full free man.
That's excellent. In fact, your service to the Minifans, I think, should actually wipe out any record of your crime.
I agree. John, it seems like Kirk he misses you. Why haven't you been calling into the main show? You just been busy, or is it the new format?
Yeah, I work during the day, and I've been putting my nose to the grindstone.
That's good. You got to do it. You got to do it.
I was wondering about the Justin pitch. Do you think he really offered anything above and beyond what he's already doing now? And why would you pay somebody for that?
Well, I think he's proven his loyalty, right? He's worked almost 18 months, mostly for free. I think I think the pitch wasn't the greatest, but I do think he's proven his loyalty, and I do think he should be hired full time. I don't know if the roles he laid out were the best, but I do think I like Justin. I get annoyed by him sometimes, but he's a loyal guy. You can't question that, and there's always work to be done. So I think maybe
Steve Robinson proved that it's not a full-time job.
True, but he did get burnt out, Steve. So maybe Cullinane's not mentally as strong as Steve. So maybe it'll be good for Cullinane to have a little bit of help. Even if it's not full-time, just maybe getting Justin on some kind of salary, just so he has a secure income and can kind of look towards the future. I think that would be helpful.
I think Cullinane's got a big...
greatest minds in sport have indicated that you shouldn't pay that based on past performance. John Henry doesn't pay that way. Bill Belichick doesn't pay that way. It's like
that's true.
What have you done to me lately? What
can you put the phone to your mouth, John?
I didn't hear any of that.
Put the phone to your mouth. God.
What do you do in cricket? How are the cricket guys paid? Based on past performance or based on how they can help the team?
Both. But I think a couple of things, John. I think Cullinane's got a bigger vision for the show than Steve, so therefore you need more staff. I think what Justin's proven is he's got no shame. He'll do anything for the show. I think he's been the the MVP this year. Nothing greater than the Julie DeCaro rereading. So I think a terrific year for Justin, and he deserves a role.
He read the Bible. He didn't do it.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Have you ever been to Adelaide?
Yes. Have you?
No, but I happened to stumble into a Vortex the other night, and I was watching a lot of music covers by some musicians in Adelaide that own a music shop, and they bring in different vocalists who sing with them. They do all sorts of genres, from jazz to pop to yacht rock to disco. Have you ever heard of that outfit?
What's the band called?
It's something country club. I forget the first two names of it, but what I'll do is I'll send you a tweet about it.
Yeah, Australia is surprisingly big contributor to music, just in general. I feel like,
Incess.
Yeah.
Do you like music matters?
Do I like music? Yeah. Yep, I do. I'm not a.
Yeah.
My favorite band.
Have you more thought to do in the Packers special?
What?
Have you done any more thought about putting together a Packers special?
Oh,
about the Packer family?
How do you know about the Packers? Did anyone care about this who's watching? I mean, it's one of the richest families in Australia. But
I know them well.
There was VD hangs out with them all the time. But John, there was a story going around about Kerry Packer that they used to ship to Las Vegas, this bubbly passion fruit drink that only he would drink, and they'd keep it in a shelf in case this guy used to turn up at the casino because they really wanted his sweet cash. So they just had this case of Passiona sitting there in Vegas waiting for him for when he'd turn up.
So was his sport football?
No, he was into everything cricket. He did a lot of stuff with cricket.
Did they also have something to do with an America's Cup team at one point?
I don't think Packer did. That was Alan Bond, another rich Australian. You know your Aussie history, John. What's the genesis of this Australian obsession? Is it me or something else?
There was some shows streaming for free on Amazon a few years ago about the magazine wars in Australia and the newspaper wars and some kind of war about soccer where a bunch of the top guys all quit to form like a super team and things like that.
That sounds fascinating.
ABV.
Yes, John.
Soccer's a really big field, huh?
Say it again.
It's a really big field they play soccer on, huh? There's like
a
lot of room. There's a lot of guys out there too.
the size of the field will vary upon which stadium you're in. So there's like a regulation where it can't be more than X amount of yards wide and X amount of yards long, but some fields are smaller than others, so it does play into the home field advantage quite a bit.
So when Theodore Roosevelt was president of the United States, he got involved in pro football and setting the regulations for it because too many people were getting hurt. And he either narrowed down like the size of the field, or he got rid of the forward lateral, or he did something to try to make the game safer as president. The only time a president has actually intervened into professional football.
That's player safety. He was way ahead of his time. Way ahead of his time.
Well, I'm so glad to see you guys together again. And
great to hear from you. Cold turkey is you.
Great. Love you, John. What a guy.
What a guy.
He might be the most well-read person on the planet. He kind of just knows about everything. I did make a pitch for the Jon Stewart show live from Saco. I think that would be great. Just him talking into a microphone would be great.
He could do the Vox Pop.
He did kind of just run over you. Like he kind of just alphaed you. He kind of just ran right. You were kind of trying to throw your sense in. He just kind of powered right through you onto the next point. It was impressive.
Good. Happy for that to happen. Hello, caller. Welcome to Manners Live.
Hey, Manners VD. How you doing?
How we doing?
Point. Spit it out. Come on.
Hey, I'm just calling to say how happy I am that Cullinan's on the show now. It's night and day.
Agree.
A lot more lighthearted.
Yeah, it's a much better show. I mean, that dead weight Robinson's gone.
Yeah, I mean, and like Cullinan tweeted to Kirk today, like, you're welcome. It's the first time you've laughed in like a year. And, there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, not literally, but it's just a lighthearted show. People can enjoy it a lot better.
I hear this a lot. I do understand that the majority of the fan base are low IQ type people who just want lighthearted, fart jokes and just dumb talk. So I understand why not everyone could keep up with the kind of high intellect that Steve brought to the show. And I don't hold it against them that they didn't enjoy it. I mean, for me, I'm going to have to find my kind of intelligent conversation fix somewhere else. So that's going to be a journey for me. But if everybody else is happy about KMS, then, I'm really happy for you guys. That's kind of just the maturity I'll bring to the table.
Yeah, well, VD, we used to listen to the show 10 hours a week. Would we want to listen to 10 hours a week of fucking Steve being a miserable cunt? Or do we want to enjoy ourselves?
Well, that's an unfair characterization of Steve's impact on the show. I don't think he was a miserable cunt for always. But, look, I'm not going to try to sell you on Steve. If you don't like him, that's for you. I love Steve. I love him. Love the guy. Very loyal to me.
Produced from the beginning, this show would still be 5 days a week. Steve killed the show.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
I wish the show was 5 days a week now. It has that vibe about it that it could sustain everyday action. But I think
I disagree.
Okay, why?
I disagree because what are they going to talk about every day? Like what happened on Twitter? What I'm saying about Cullinan needing to find what kind of content he's going to bring to the show falls into my belief that I don't think 5 days would be great.
I think they could definitely do it. Hello, caller. What do you think?
Hey, what's going on, Menners and VD? It's Dave from Hull. What's going on?
Dave,
you're not Dave. You're Daver. You're Daver.
Fine, I'm Daver. What up, guys?
Are you the guy that went in on Friday?
Yes, I am. I am that guy, Menners.
All right, so I've got some notes here
before we get into this, Daver, will you just apologize and say that you were wrong about England?
Listen, we're not going to do football today. Go to the Twitter. I already apologized. Get over it. Congratulations. You're going to lose in the final. Go ahead, Menners.
I actually thought, and I've got note, that you were perhaps the most naturally talented broadcaster that went in on Friday. Why are you laughing? You know what I liked about you look very huggable, big smile. You were energetic. You weren't shy. You didn't look like someone that was scared in front of Kirk. I don't think your pitch was very strong. I don't think you sold why you guys should open the show, but I think you look like a very affable, larger than life character, and you left quite an impression.
Wow, I came on here ready to get like hellfire and brimstone, and now you just patted my belly, and I'm good. You're the man.
There is truth to what you said, Daver. He's a nationally talented broadcaster. He has the thing where he always he's always not worried about, but he's always aware of what the listener is going through during his shows, which is hard. Most people it's easy for them to get lost on tangents that aren't interesting, but he's well spoken. He doesn't know shit about sports. He's a terrible gambler, but he is good on the microphone.
Hey, listen, guys, the reason I called in, do you guys want to hear what happened in the green room?
I'd love to.
All right. So the green room is a wild scene. So no one comes downstairs to get us. I'm walking down the street. I get there at 9:55, thinking the show starts at 10. So like, I don't want to barge in. I thought someone would be outside or whatever. Nothing. I see Scallycap Rob outside. He's who brings me up. Okay. So now we're in the green room, and then obviously the show had started. So like, we're here in the show, and then, everyone knew what was going on with Eric that morning. Right. He comes upstairs, and I'm like, oh shit, this dude really just showed up, right? Like, nothing, no security. You just walk in, do whatever you want. Then Justin comes charging out. By the way, Justin, way bigger kid than what I thought. Way bigger in person. And then they're doing the whole thing. And I got to give Garrick a little thing. Like, it was a little wild just walking in, but all he really wanted to do was give Cully some weed. That was it. That's all he wanted to do.
I was going to ask you if it was as confrontational as it was portrayed to be, because I didn't think the weed guy was coming in that aggressively. I just didn't see that.
He was not aggressive. He walked in. We just thought, like, I knew it was him. Other people, like, we're just sitting there waiting. I never met Rob before. I never met Andrew before, but I had communicated with them on Twitter. The other two kids, the Frankie Muniz kid, I'd never, I didn't know him at all. But we're just sitting there chilling. And Eric walks in. He sat there. And then Justin, came in. Obviously, I think Kirk told him. I didn't. Listen, I couldn't hear that part of the episode. But he came in, very aggressive, so he was going to call the cops. And Eric was just like, just give him the weed. And then he left the weed, and Rob stole the weed.
Is Rob the worst friend of all time for
he was dogging Timmy Ridgles. Oh, my God.
And Craig.
Hey, but you guys want to hear another great part, too? So everyone knows how Andrew got left behind, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they forgot about it.
Okay. So Justin comes in. I'm like one of the second to last people there. Justin comes in and goes, "Who's Dave?" I have communicated with Justin. Justin knows who I am. So I think he tried alpha dogging me in that moment, which is pretty impressive. And I'm like, me. He brings me in. Andrew is right next to me and says, "Hey, good luck, Dave." I said, "Thanks, Andrew." Walk in, do the show. I go outside. I left after that. Like Tim from Canton did an interview, whatever. Justin does a show with Andrew every fucking day. How does he not know Andrew's in that green room?
That was a big miss. I can't lie to you. I'm rattled by your Frankie Muniz comment right now. That's all I can think about. That's the most accurate description of that kid of all time. Oh my God.
By the way, super sweetheart kids behind the scene. It was a total WWE promo, but good for them.
I liked how they were adamant that there was only 4 people allowed to apply on Friday, and that's why Eric couldn't come in. And then they were like, "Oh, we'll bring Andrew Augustus in number 5 application. Doesn't matter." He just showed up.
But then they forgot about him, Menners. They totally forgot about him.
Yeah.
Well, they could have done without, but I mean, that was I thought the standard of pitches were awful. We'll just stay on the line, Dave. I thought, obviously, Rob's pitch was just terrible. I mean, he said, well, he's pitching for very good show. He barely pitched for All in the Minute family. He basically just took a fart on air. I mean, it was a pathetic pitch. Yeah, really bad.
But can I tell you something, Menners? Can I be totally honest with you? Listen, I would love to be on stage. That would be cool, I guess. But I'm also not super into it. I'm actually rather have my buddy Mixmaster Jay play music, and I play cornhole and get drunk all day. I'm not even going to lie to you. The pressure of having to do a show and then them record it and rip it up the next week might be a little too much for your boy.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think you're up to it, Dave. I think you, more than anyone, are probably up to the task.
All right, boys, I'll let you go. And Menners, remember I made fun of you for doing a 3rd of July special? Well, you lucked out because it's 52 degrees and pouring rain here in New England. That's why we're all listening today. Other than that, awful instincts for doing it on this day. But love you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Weather
so-
weather in Beverly Hills is great. Sunny, clear skies. Can't relate. Go ahead.
Caller.
Andrew Augustus, Kirkenoff News.
Hello, Andrew.
So I just wanted to respond to the previous caller. I was minding my P's and Q's. I said so on the show. I wasn't going to bother the great Kirk Minahan, the great Dave Cullinane, the okay Justin Trudell. Not one bit. And I had a question for Metters.
Yes, Blind Mike's penis.
No, this is Andrew Augustus, Kirkenoff News.
Totally different person.
A penis.
Totally different person. Yeah, you're way off on this one. So Metters, Kirk often says you're a fucking cunt. Can I respond to his comments that you will not be allowed to broadcast from remote at the Saco Drive-In?
I think it's a very bad decision. I think there would be nothing more exciting than having an international broadcast coming into Saco to entertain the Minifans. And as they said, everyone's just going to ignore me anyway, so it would just be background noise. But yeah, I think it would be, considering the strength of the applications, Rob was terrible, Mick was terrible, Inspector J just sort of sat there asleep, Augustus had nothing. I think I could definitely do it.
I am Andrew Augustus. Don't you
had
fucking
nothing.
say that, buddy.
You had nothing. You had nothing, Augustus.
I did great. I did great.
Andrew,
Also,
what do you? What do
can
you?
I tell
What do
you
you?
what would be more interesting than your show? So minestrone soup ingredients: water, tomato puree, carrot, celery, potatoes, green beans, kidney beans, and
Making me
rye
hungry.
peas.
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
Ooh,
Augustus. Nice to hear from Blind Mike's penis.
Always nice.
Masquerading as Andrew Augustus's penis. Yeah, I thought the applications were terrible. None of them had any ideas, VD. Hello, you've got through.
Menners.
Yes.
That was my NFL joke, and I was going to tie it into Carano, and you cut me off like the asshole that you are. I mean, what the fuck are we doing here?
It was a great call. It was a great call.
We'll try it again.
It's Matt Carano. What was his fantasy team in 2006 that he had, and who was on the team? He was getting his advice from Kirk Minahan on WEI.com in 2006. Like he said on a show, everyone knows that. He was reading Kirk Minahan back then. What was his fantasy team?
What about the backlash you got from the Kirkenoff guys for trying to make that point? I felt like I was taking crazy pills.
I felt like I was, VD, it's funny you were going to say that. I was literally going to say, I feel like I was taking crazy pills. This Blind Mike's daddy, this fucking baldy with this weird beard, and he's like trying to cut me off to like save Carano. And I'm like, what are you, like, are you getting pics from him? Like, what are we doing here? Oh, I don't think Carano would be that type of guy. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Yes, he's that type of guy. He would throw Dave in front of a bus to get that job. I just think that's ridiculous. And I'm like, you guys are fucking lunatics.
They're so scared of Kirk.
Anything for that job.
It was you did a great job on the show. Everybody I said it earlier, but it was a great episode of Kirkenoff. But yeah, I did feel like I was living on a different planet towards the end there.
It was the most absurd thing I've ever been a part of. And my audio, man, was my audio terrible, wasn't it?
Oh, Menners was not pleased about that.
We're rough listen.
Yeah, here's the other funny thing, VD, about Menners, why I love him, is that he talks all tough, and then when I get on the phone, he like turtles into this little
Okay,
little
you
he's like,
fucking asshole. Killer, I'm consistent on this. I think you're terrible on air. I think you're an okay bloke. I'll say it to your fucking face. When you are on air, you suck, Kelleher. But I always think you're a nice guy. He sent me a ton of stickers. I don't think he has bad intentions, but he's terrible on air. And he says, oh, I never tell him. I tell him all the time. I tell him all the time. Fucking loser. Hello? Can you turn your radio, caller?
Oh, get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Who's it?
That's
Was
Jay.
it?
I don't want to talk to Jay.
I won't talk about Jay. But don't you think the applications were really thin on Friday? No ideas, no nothing.
Well, you got to understand it's a high pressure situation. You know?
Yeah, but I'm armed with suggestions. I mean, I've got more ideas, just thinking about it now that you could do.
Well, you're a professional. Not everybody's a professional. I do think. How do you feel about this guy that everyone's so mad about? The average nobody guy.
I kind of like the audio of him going, "You said it was okay yesterday."
I started off hating him, but I kind of like him. I can't lie. I kind of like him.
I'm not going to criticize someone for doing a bad Kirk impression because it makes my impression much better. My impression now is much better than Mick's. Hello, caller.
Menners VD, how are you? It's John from Scratch.
Hello, Jonathan.
You guys are killing it tonight. Just want to say, callers on the ball, much better than the fucking KMS show callers. I think people need to fucking step it up.
Right.
Calls have been bad recently. The calls have been
compliments.
Calls on the show have been terrible. Calls on the show have been terrible. Menners, I just want to tell you, I think you're nailing it on the Kelleher take too. He's just terrible on there. He's just 100%. Awful on there.
Awful.
Disagree.
Just terrible. Just fucking terrible on there. What do you guys think about this whole the Miniverse coming back here? What's wrong?
What? Go on, John.
I said, what are you guys thinking about this whole Miniverse coming back thing? What about parody accounts coming back? Because there are virtually no parody accounts left.
I don't know. I want the Miniverse to come back, John, but I don't want you to come back. So
that's fine, Menners. I'm fucking calling into your show. What do you mean don't come back? You were on my show the other night. What are you fucking talking about?
I spent all my clout points. I did that.
At least At least I'm not begging for a spot at Saco, and I want to party with my boys. Like,
that is true, Menners. Do you think you're so desperate for a spot because you're just upset you're not able to go?
Yeah, I think that's 100%.
I want you there more than anybody. You know that. I want VD there. I've been texting him all week. I'm like, you sure you don't want to come?
It is true. He has been trying to.
I swear to God, dude. But no, I'm upset. I'm upset you two won't be there. It's going to be a good time. We'll try to get you virtually there as much as we can. I think it's going to be a good time. I did want to call in and just chirp Madawaska for just trying to be like in control of Saco and be the fun czar. Wild move.
Stupid idea of a beer pong competition. That was fucking Rob's idea.
Wild move.
Like beer pong.
Yo, he made.
Rob, you fucking grow up. Grow up.
Yeah, he made Craig look like terrible, and he made his show look bad. I was like, I thought Rob was a salesman. It was a bad pitch, but I'm a Rob guy. I hope he gets his fun czar position. But I just wanted to call in and say you guys are killing it. Now, actually, what I wanted to call in is just to tell, is Poodle still there?
Oh yeah, Poodle did come in. We haven't had the comment.
Can you come in here real quick?
What's up, John? How's it going?
Poodle, I just wanted to personally come in here for GV and tell you you're doing an amazing job as comment guy. We fully endorse it. Congratulations. You can kick me off now for mentioning our name. Say our name. Say our fucking name. Say our fucking name.
Whatever. Go. You dickhead. Bring in Poodle. Do any comments?
Yeah, we got one comment. VD, people want to know, is your private jet in the shop? Is that why you're not gonna make it to Saco?
There's too many poor people in Maine.
Yeah,
it's not, like rich people don't go to Maine.
Mm-hmm. We got another comment. People are wanting Big Steve to replace Menners on this show. I don't know how you feel about that, VD.
I love Menners, but I think I'd have to toss him to the side for Big Steve. I can't lie.
Menners,
Big Steve, by the way, very supportive.
This is my show. Menners Live.
Partnership. It's a partnership. It's a partnership.
Killer K is saying that VD is growing his hair out to make a toupee for Menners. Is that true? Is that what do we got on that?
If he wanted my hair, I would donate hair. I'd donate an organ to Menners. He's a great guy. I'd do anything to help him.
Penne rigate pasta, spinach, contains less than 1% of garbanzo beans. No, modified cornstarch, soybean oil, sugar, potassium.
All right, thanks Augustus. Thank you.
Oh man. All right, should we end it? I feel like it's slowing down. I feel like
I think the calls are coming to an end. I guess.
How would you rate Poodle Dick's appearance? I give it an A+.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a very good mark. But I would like to see some other applicants try the role and see how they fit in. I think we've got, Patton Lawrence is keen to have a go. I've got a secret applicant keen to have a go. But Poodle Dick, you were fantastic. Love the set.
Thanks,
you're a great fit for the role.
It's going to be tough to beat that performance. It's going to be really tough to beat that.
Manners, I said this, whatever helps the show. If I'm not good enough and someone else is better and that helps the show, I'm all for it.
What a guy.
What a great attitude. Great attitude. Much better than BA, who's just all about himself all the time, or Jay, who can't read. I mean, you can't have someone illiterate reading the comments. It's just not going to work. So thank you, Poodle Dick. I just thought, everyone's talked about the it's the 4th of July tomorrow in your great country. And, I think as a foreigner, it would be good to just pay a little bit of a tribute to America. I've been there many times on holiday, and as much as your country has its problems, it is a wonderful country. I think one thing that strikes me as a tourist is the energy in America. It's got such a vibe about it. Everyone's so hungry for, fun, and it's a real great place to holiday. The people are wonderful, very welcoming and friendly people. They always treat Australians well. So happy 4th of July to all the Americans watching. Have a great holiday, and congratulations on being part of such a wonderful country.
USA.
So happy 4th, everyone. This is Manners Live, Gathering the Goats, signing out. Thank you, Rob, for having us on the network. Thank you, Dave Cullinane. Thank you, Kirk Minahan. Treat Dave better next week or whenever you're back in the studio. Justin, I think you can end it there. Happy 4th, everyone.